Good morning and welcome to this Taize service coming to you from the Hartwell Chapel, part of the Hartwell community with Surrey, and welcome to you all from the Avenue as well this morning. Today is World Refugee Day, which is appropriate, I think, for the service we are having about creation, seeing as many refugees are refugees because of their lands being taken or have been wasted in some way, fighting over things. Will you join me in the call to worship, after which we'll light the candle. It's responsive. So if you read the parts that say all on the order of service, thank you. And can everyone hear me all right?
Speak a little bit louder. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Amidst the wonder of creation, let us celebrate the abundance of God's provision, food for our bodies, beauty for our souls.
Amidst reports of global warming, extreme weather, and endless famine, let us mourn the degrading of God's creation, the polluting of the earth, the blasphemy of injustice.
Amidst our gathering here to pray, let us guard the flame of hope, the reconciling of all creation into the love and freedom of God.
Together with people of faith, all times and all places, we light this candle as a sign to us of God's presence, a light that shines in the darkness and calls us to act to bring light. Amen.
Genesis 1, verses 1 to 19. In the beginning, when God created the heavens and the earth was a formless void, and darkness covered the face of the deep, while a wind from God swept over the face of the waters. Then God said, "Let there be light," and there was light. And God saw that the light was good, and God separated the light from the darkness. God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And there was evening, and there was morning, the first day. And God said, "Let there be a dome in the midst of the waters, and let it separate the waters from the waters." So God made the dome and separated the waters that were under the dome from the waters that were above the dome. And it was so. God called the dome sky. And there was evening, and there was morning, the second day. And God said, "Let the waters under the sky be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear." And it was so. God called the dry land earth, and the waters that were gathered together he called seas. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let the earth put forth vegetation, plants yielding seed, and fruit trees of every kind of earth that bear fruit with the seed in it." And it was so. The earth brought forth vegetation, plants yielding every kind of seed, and trees of every kind bearing fruit with the seed in it. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the third day. And God said, "Let there be lights in the dome of the sky to separate the day from the night, and let them be for signs and for seasons and for days and for years. And let them be lights in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth." And it was so. God made the two great lights, the greater light to rule the day, and the lesser light to rule the night, and the stars. God set them in the dome of the sky to give light upon the earth, to rule over the day and over the night, and to separate light from darkness. And God saw that it was good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the fourth day.
Continuing, Genesis 1, verses 20 to 31. And God said, "Let the waters bring forth swarms of living creatures, and let birds fly above the earth and across the dome of the sky." So God created the giant sea monsters and every living creature that moves, of every kind, with which the waters swarm, and every winged bird of every kind. And God saw that it was good. God blessed them, saying, "Be fruitful and multiply, and fill the water in the seas, and let birds multiply upon the earth." And there was evening, and there was morning, the 5th day. And God said, "Let the earth bring forth living creatures of every kind, cattle and creeping things, and wild animals of the earth of every kind." And it was so. God made the wild animals of the earth of every kind, and the cattle of every kind, and everything that creeps across the ground of every kind. And God saw that it was good. Then God said, "Let us make humankind in our image, according to our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the wild animals of the earth, and over every creeping thing that upon the earth." So God created humankind in his image. In the image of God he created them. Male and female he created them. God blessed them, and God said to them, "Be fruitful and multiply, fill the earth and subdue it, and have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over every living thing that moves upon the earth." God said, "See, I have given you every plant yielding seed that is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree with seed in its fruit. You shall have them for food. And to every beast of the earth, and to every bird of the air, and to everything that creeps upon the earth, and that everything that has the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food." And so it was so. God saw everything that he had made, and indeed it was very good. And there was evening, and there was morning, the 6th day.
We'll now move into our period of intercessory prayer, in which we sing 2 verses of O Lord, hear my prayer to start. We have a pause. We have prepared intercessory prayers today, just in case this ended up having to be an online service. So we will have those, but there will be silence as well, and there will be a spot at the end for anyone to give a prayer if they wish. Sing the chant twice to start.
Amidst the stress of our everyday lives, where we measure ourselves against impossible standards of perfection, let us celebrate our differences and individuality and strive to perfect our love for each other.
Amidst the widespread sense of loneliness and isolation suffered by so many, let us remember we are part of the whole family of creation and celebrate our relationship with the trees, the birds, animals, clouds, and all that reminds us that the earth is our home.
Amidst this world so divided into the haves and have-nots, where some starve while others' health is damaged from having too much, let us join those who strive to promote more equitable sharing of our world's resources.
Amidst the announcements of doom and feelings of hopelessness, let us look at the good around us in small, lovely things, such as flowers pushing up in unlikely places, dandelions coming through the cracks in concrete, in small, lovely things, in the way people smile at each other and lending helping hands.
God, I pray for all those who found this lockdown a step too far, who've lost businesses, who are shut away from loved ones, who are feeling the despair of not knowing when things are likely to pick up for them or if things are likely to pick up. Lord, be with them, help them to find love and care in the middle of the despair. Lord, hear my prayer.
Amidst our fears for the future in this time of pandemic, climate change and uncertainty, help us remember you are with us always, through our trials and our storms, O God. We will, by your grace, walk by faith and not by sight, knowing you guard us in all our ways, a light to our paths, making each door an opportunity for your will to be done and your creation to be mended.
We lift all these prayers, whether made aloud or silently, to you, O God. We bring to you our lives and our gifts, that they may build your kingdom here in your world. And we pray you will help us tend and mend your creation, however we are able. Amen. We now come into our time of communion, the Lord's Supper. All are invited to the Lord's table. You should have your emblems with you, and if you don't have any, they'll be brought. We have our COVID rations. And we will chant, eat this bread, drink this cup throughout, and join in as you wish, or remain silent if that's what you'd like to do. Thank you. During the final chant, you may come and light a candle. You may look at anything that's around you that fills you with the joy of creation and reconciles you to God and it. And the chant will keep playing as it usually does at the end, and you may leave when the time has come for you to leave or stay, as long as you like. Amen.
Thank you for that beautiful music. It was lovely.
It was nice sitting here in the sun.
Hello, and lovely to see you all.
Lovely to